Sarah Spade, Kate Fagan, Jemele Hill, Jackie McMullan. So ecstatic to have you all here today. I'm so sad that we're doing it on the day we lost Prince. I'll get your memories on Prince today. Also, Panthers letting Josh Norman go, Stanley and LeBron's head, and if you believe this was the fastest throw ever recorded. No, let's go around the horn.
Not bad. Humble Jackson. Put him in the starting rotation.
It's Around the Horn, presented by Captain Morgan, part of Happy Hour.
We are a sports show, of course. We are also a people's show, and we're people that love our rock stars and our icons and our supreme beings. To call Prince any of those, it's the biggest understatement of all time. We lost Prince today, our one and our only, and there will be no other. Jemele Hill, how we remember him.
I remember him like a lot of people will, as an icon, as someone who set an impossible standard in music, as a genius. And I had the pleasure of getting to see him twice in concert, once in Charlotte and once in Detroit at the Palace of Auburn Hills. And I'll never forget that one in particular, not only because it was my hometown, but he came out and performed in a Tayshaun Prince jersey, because it was the year that the Pistons won the NBA title, and he was there jamming acoustically, doing everybody else's song and music better than they could do their own. I mean, Tony, I'm still having a very difficult time processing this. This is just an incredible legend to lose far too soon.
Jackie McMullan?
Yeah, just absolutely crushing. You've heard me talk 1,000 times off camera, Tony, about him being the last guy on my bucket list. I've come close so many times seeing Prince. The last time a few years ago, he was playing at Mohegan Sun. I had tickets, I was all set, and then my daughter's basketball team decided to go play in Daytona Beach. What do you do as a parent? You go watch your daughter play in Daytona Beach. What I remember too is when Purple Rain came out, I went the first day at Coolidge Corner in Boston, Massachusetts. And it was such a great movie, but of course, the music was playing. I remember this little African-American kid getting up and just dancing in the aisle throughout the whole movie. That was kind of the effect he had on all of us. I'm just heartbroken.
Sarah Spade?
Yeah, I'm heartbroken to hear that, Jackie, because I did finally get to see him a couple years ago. Totally random. He was in town in Chicago to play George Lucas's wedding. And that very night, he announced a secret pop-up show at City Winery here in Chicago for 300 people with his 20-plus person band, and we just happened to get online at the right time. $80 a ticket, me and my fiance and a friend waited in line from 11:30 till 2. He was supposed to go on at midnight, didn't go on till 2, but 2 to 4 a.m., just tiny room for 300 people, and what an incredible performer. Such a great memory.
Kate Fagan?
I'm with Jackie, and probably like so many others out there who thought they had so much more time to check that off your bucket list and go see Prince. And I think along with Prince is Bowie as well, just two guys who, as a kid, just gave you such permission to just be weird and different, because that's what they were, and they made that so cool. And it's just 2016, so far to this point, we've just lost so many important musical icons.
Right. Yeah. I'll be honest here. Before we get on the show, every day we sit down and we talk. And we just talk. And what do we talk about always, Jackie? Jemele? Kate?
Music.
Sarah? We talk about music. We talk about music all the time. Your all-time band. I remember Bomani once saying, lead vocals, Prince. Lead guitar?
Guitars.
Prince.
Right.
Prince.
Bomani.
Drum?
Yeah,
Prince.
Bomani.
And it's incredible. And then you talk about Prince and Jay Adonde, another huge Prince fan. I'm wearing, I wear purple. Prince wears purple. We love that. And, how he was a basketball player in high school. He's 5'2". 5'2", and there's all these rumors out there. He was all state, as a point guard, which is amazing. Last time we saw him, I think publicly at a sporting event, was courtside for the Warriors about a month ago. He was bigger than the game. He was always bigger than the game, playing a different sport in a different universe. So it's so tough to move on and have to talk about sports, but we will, because that's what we do here. And we'll talk about the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, watch. He's questionable tonight. Steve Kerr. To people that say just give him 2 weeks off for the ankle, we've had a few on this panel this week. What about his shooting arm? What about his handle? There's a rest versus rhythm equation that he's factoring in his decision. Sarah, to start us off today in the scoring portion of the program, when does Kerr need to be concerned about the rest-rhythm equation?
With a normal player, I would say right about now. With Steph Curry, I would say a unrested, rusty Steph Curry with a completely 100% healthy ankle is more important than anything else. So if it takes into the next series, sit him.
Kate Fagan?
I mean, the Warriors are lucky at this point that they can pretty much assume they're going to beat the Rockets, so they don't have the variable of absolutely needing Steph Curry right now. But I don't think that once you get into the next round or the round after that, you have that same leeway with him. I think you've got a couple more games, but then after that, if you care enough about what you need to do here, I think for Steph Curry, you got to get him back on the court, assuming that you're not putting him in jeopardy within the next 2 or 3 games.
So you believe in that a shooter needs to shoot. He's going to lose his shooting form if he sits out another week or so?
No, I mean, he will earn it back for sure, but I mean, they're going to start to hit more pressure situations once they get out of this series. Once you're out of this series, that window of what you have closes.
Jemele, rest versus rhythm here. What are you thinking about?
I think that the time is now. If he can go, he can go. And I've wondered, as we've been having this constant consternation about his ankle, if this resting is as much about the opponent as anything else. Is this really about the injury, or is this about the fact that they're facing the Rockets, who so far haven't proven they actually want to win a basketball game? So if I'm Steve Kerr, I got to get him back in there as soon as possible because, as Kate said, tougher series lie ahead.
Jackie, rest versus rhythm, and maybe even the idea that there's some gamesmanship here, that they're just sitting him because of what this matchup is.
No coach in his right mind ever sits anyone just because of a matchup. That just never, ever happens. I do agree to a point with Jemele, and I think I'm all right with him sitting this next game, Jemele, because I think he needs it. He himself has said that he still has certain things that he can't do, and it causes him a lot of pain. Sarah, you can forget about Steph Curry being 100%. Everyone that's had an ankle injury, you can tell you right now, it will not happen. And that's why you do need to get him back, Tony, because he's going to have to learn how to play hurt the rest of the postseason, because that's what's going to have to happen.
Okay, so if he's playing hurt, as you say, the rest of the postseason, Jackie, this was a question we asked yesterday. Are now the Spurs co-favorites? Are the Spurs the favorites this postseason?
Not yet. Not yet. I still think that we've seen what the Holly Golden State Warriors played. Steph Curry's super important, but even on one leg, I still think the Spurs are the favorite team.
I still think that they're going to wait till he's 200% healthy in order to play him. But you got to ask yourself, if this was OKC or the Clippers, would he be playing? I think the answer is yes.
Yes. Well, you brought it up, Jemele. You can't be more than 200%.
Hey, my
We'll move
man,
on.
this is so good.
Let's talk about Stanley Johnson versus LeBron James, because here's Stanley saying he's in LeBron's head.
Does that make you think that you're in his mind or in his head?
Definitely in his head, that's for sure. That's for sure.
I'm in his head for sure, that's for sure. And then here's LeBron one-on-one versus Stanley so far in this series, 13 of 15 field goals. Kate, where do you come down on what Stanley said?
I mean, thank God Stanley got into LeBron's head, or else the Pistons would be down like 0-2 or something. Just imagine. I mean, I kid, but I actually like this from Stanley Johnson because it reminds me of the old school Pistons. It reminds me of old school one-on-one matchups that I like to see. You fake it until you make it. Obviously, he hasn't made it yet, but if he thinks he's this kind of defender, I like that he's talking this way.
Jemele Hill?
No, I don't like this. This was just stupid. I mean, the Pistons are one of the youngest teams in the league, and this was kind of an example of that. If he is in LeBron's head, then maybe he's only saying sweet nothings, because I can't tell based off the way that LeBron is playing. Look, man, they need to concentrate on winning the game instead of trying to have some kind of trash talk battle with one of the best players in the league.
Jackie, Matt?
You know what? I think he's in his head all right, but here's what he's done. It's like the old Bill Russell art of war stuff. He's in his head. He's saying, oh, right, kid, you think you can stop me? Well, watch me. Because now I'm going to go at you time after time after time, and you cannot stop me. Never wake the slumbering beast, and that's the mistake Stanley Johnson made. But let's be clear. Stanley Johnson's a good basketball player. He's going to be
I
around.
was going to say, Jackie, watching the series play out, I mean, game one could have gone either way, honestly. And the physicality
He's a really good player.
showing versus James has been noticeable, at least. Sarah, where are you
Yeah, it's been
what Stanley said?
Listen, I like this. As reporters, we like to build things up and say, oh, don't poke the beast. LeBron's going to crush you. Look, he's going to crush you anyway, whether you're talking trash or not. So if you're a 19-year-old kid on the Pistons who no one's given a shot to, and you're playing them pretty tough, and you're giving him his due and saying that he's a great player and doing well, but you also want to talk a little trash on the way, more power to you. If that's what gets him pumped, if that's what gets him hyped to face one of the greatest players there is and try to stick with them, do it.
How many of us are surprised that Sarah Spain's in favor of talking a little trash? Let's move on. Let's talk some football here, because it's just former free agency in the middle of April. Where did that come from? Some are saying it's the sneaky biggest news of the offseason. Carolina suddenly and mysteriously dropping his franchise tag. never negotiating long-term above $11 million per. And the best quarterback on a defense that went 17-2 last year is a free agent right now. Jemele, are the Panthers making a mistake here?
It feels like it is a mistake. Look, we know that there's a very notorious record of those who have finished as Super Bowl runner-up in terms of trying to get back. It would seem that you would want to keep the band together. You know, it's interesting because Josh Norman, he's faced a lot of shade from outsiders, from Roddy White and other people saying that he's a product of their system. It seems like his own team thought the same thing, which is why they let him go so casually.
You think that's a mistake they're going to regret, Jemele?
I think they will regret it. I think you got to keep that same cohesiveness, and now already you're starting off on a bad
Jackie, will the Panthers regret this?
I don't know, but I think I understand a little bit better than maybe, at least from my point of view, Jemele, and that is that you got cap numbers, you are a Super Bowl run-up with a bunch of young players that you're going to have to pay down the line. At some point, kind of like what the Patriots did, Tony, with Darrelle Revis, you have to realize if we pay him this amount, it messes up everything else we want to do down the road. I look at a guy like Kansas City let Sean Smith go. Great cornerback, really great cornerback. They could do that because they had a young Marcus Peters. The Patriots could do it because they had a young Malcolm Butler. The problem Carolina has is who is their young corner that's going to fill in? You know.
You brought up a lot of instances of cornerback. Does this happen more with cornerbacks?
Yes, it does.
It's a position where, like running back, people think it's a system thing. Sarah, where are you on the Panthers? Did they make a mistake here with Norman?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if you don't want to give him a long-term deal for $15, $16 million a year like he wants, that's fine. But if you can lock him up on the franchise tag for 1 year and you can keep together as much of that Super Bowl team as possible, you need to do it. I think we could have seen this coming, though, because last year, GM Dave Gettleman told the Panthers blog, Black and Blue Review, that there's shutdown corners are a misnomer. Without a pass rush, there's no such thing as a shutdown corner. And so he wants to give money to quarterbacks and to the guys that rush the quarterbacks, not to corners.
Okay, Fagan.
Yeah, it seems like Josh Norman here thinks he's a quarterback because he seems to be going for quarterback money in this offseason, not cornerback money. And if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm like, is he a cog in the system? I mean, obviously he's an awesome cornerback, but if you do keep that franchise tag on him and he says he doesn't show up to camp, do you want that kind of distraction? I'm okay with what Carolina did here. This is a guy who, if you gave him a long-term deal,
You don't think they'll regret
he was
this?
going to be old by the end of that deal. And this is a page out of the Patriots playbook.
That's where McMullan.
You know, I just wonder if there's something else we haven't learned yet about this Josh Norman situation. It feels a little to me like there's more to be said here as we go on.
More to be said here, buy or sell. We're taking a break right now. Look at those scores. McMullan in the lead with 15.
Tony, how about Fake Steel? Was she not available today to take your place? Just wondering.
Whoa.
Whoa.
What about Prince Ripper?
Around the Horn is presented by Captain Morgan Cannon Blast, an intensely delicious shot. Know when to cease fire. Drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour. And is brought by Lowe's. Hurry in today to your neighborhood store this week for big spring savings. And Applebee's Carside to go. Welcome back to Around the Horn, presented by Captain Morgan. Part of Happy Hour.
Buy or sell.
Well, you have to look at how they're scoring. Usually the adjustment is some guy that went 1 for 8 went 6 for 8. Our offense was 1.07 points per possession. You guys are looking at 91 points. You're wrong. And sometimes the other team just makes shots, okay?
Steve Clifford, 2+ minutes on why making adjustments isn't always the answer for a coach. National panel, Miami has scored 238 in 2 games. You buying adjustments or just that Miami's making shots here, Sarah?
Well, even though I'd rather have Cassidy Hubbard asking me the question, I'm still going to answer it. And I think the perfect example for what Clifford's talking about is if you look at the first 2 games of that Mavs Thunder series. Mavs lose by 38 in the first one, and then they come back and win the second one after Kevin Durant has one of the worst shooting performance of his career. So sometimes it is just about a team shooting well.
I think because 238 is such a drastic number, we're anticipating that we need some sort of drastic adjustment, when really the only adjustment is closing out harder, cutting off middle, small things that over the course of 4 quarters, that number goes down to 210, and that's not a number that seems as drastic to everybody.
It's just funny how these coaches in this situation, or him in particular, they overinflate the idea of adjustments, but yet had he made an adjustment in which they actually won, I have a feeling he wouldn't be giving that compliment back saying that we make too much of adjustments. Here's the bottom line. Miami is just a better team. so sure how much he can adjust to.
But Jackie, defensively, Charlotte was a good defensive team this year. What's happening here?
Well, part of the problem is that they lost Batum late in the game and now won't have them the rest of the series. Here's their other problem, Tony. When you go 1 of 16 from the three-point line, like the Hornets have, that causes you all sorts of problems itself. So if you want to make an adjustment, why don't you guys have your guys shoot the ball a little better? I will agree with Clifford on this. Dwayne Wade looks 25 years old. He's making shots and doing things that we haven't seen all season. So give him credit for that.
Buy or sell too. Conor McGregor's "I'm not really retiring" statement. Did you guys read this? Fireball.
Oh, yeah.
He says he's paid to fight, not promote. 200 press conferences, 1 million interviews, 2 million photo shoots. Time to stop handing out flyers and get back to the damn shop.
Love that.
Okay, you know promotion in the fight game is different than other sports. McGregor's saying it's detracting from his prep. Buy or sell?
I mean, I don't think he'd feel this way if the person asking the questions was Chris McKendry, say. I mean, she's a great question asker in any forum, Tony.
I guess that would be a fine adjustment to his point here that there's too much promotion, that's why he lost his last fight. Kind of sounds like that's what he's saying.
I thought this was the dude that had no excuses, because to me this sounds like a really big excuse about why he lost his fight.
Well, he didn't just start promoting fights. I mean, this is kind of a part of the deal when you're in their particular sport. So I feel like had he won this fight, that he probably wouldn't be saying this. And so I agree with Kate. Like, this just sounds like somebody who's grasping at a reason for why he lost.
Jackie Mack.
It sounds like someone to me that's got this all figured out. I wish I thought out that line about the flyers and everything else. And you know what, guys? He lost his last match, okay? What Ronda Rousey, when she lost her match, what did we all say? Give her time. Let her close in. You know, get ready for the next fight. Work on what she needs to do to be the best fighter she can be. Why can't Conor McGregor be allowed to do the same thing?
There's Bing.
I absolutely agree. He's on point with this statement, and he's been the guy whose mouth has been selling the UFC for a couple years now. Give him a little break here. And I buy his statement so much that I'm taking this opportunity to announce my new show, Nobody Gives a Bleep in the Morning with Sarah Spain.
This was a
So
fireball statement right here. Fireball statement. We'll move on. Buy or sell first. Golf Digest cover next month. Paige Spiranak, influencer changing the game. It had Hall of Famer Julie Inkster wondering why Lydia Ko, #1 in the world, isn't on the cover. Golf Digest covers, we've talked about them before on this show, Paulina Gretzky a few years ago. In this instance, Spiranak, unlike Gretzky, is trying to make it on the LPGA Tour, has yet to earn her card. In her public exchange with Ko, you're seeing right there, Ko is very cordial. Jemele, what do you think of a player trying to make it into the game and making a statement like this?
I'm not against women or female athletes promoting and embracing their sexuality. The problem is that she's not accomplished enough. Like Serena Williams, she embraces and promotes her sexuality as well, but she's a champion. In this case, we have somebody who, when they were at San Diego State, wasn't even within the top 300 players in the NCAA.
Jackie Mack?
So let's be real about this, Shelly. Spiranak knows why she was on the cover. Everybody else knows why she was on the cover and why the #1 player in the world wasn't on the cover, because they're trying to sell more magazines. That's all well and good. But Spiranak needs to be prepared that she's going to go out there now, if she ever gets her card, and be playing alongside people that are going to be giving her a sidelong glance. And she's earned that, so she better be ready.
There's Bing.
Yeah, I don't give many props to Golf Digest, but I'll give them props on finding a way to make it seem like it made sense to have this total nobody on their cover. Yeah, she's the next big thing. How innovative. She takes her clothes off on Instagram. Way to go, Golf Digest.
Dave Fagan.
I mean, I think this is one of those where the motto, you can't hate the player, you gotta hate the game, comes into it, because I can't throw Paige that much hate, but this is the game that you have to play. This is how you get recognized in women's sports, and it's something that we're all trying to change.
Do you think other athletes recognize that? You think that's what Lydia Ko was recognizing when she tweeted back at her?
Everybody knows that's the way the game is played right now.
Well, it's your choice whether you want to play it, though, right?
Fagan.
I don't blame her for playing it. I blame Golf Digest for perpetuating it.
Fagan and Hill, this is how our game is played right now. Got to certify quickly. It's going to be Spain and McMullan. And maybe Kelly Ripa hosts the next segment. Right? Wouldn't you guys like that? I'd like that. Let's go around the horn.
Around the Horn is presented by Captain Morgan Cannon Blast, an intensely delicious shot. Know when to cease fire. Drink responsibly. Part of Happy Hour. And in part by Ace, the helpful place.
Only time for one showdown. It is phenomenal. Janet Jones icing Wayne Gretzky. Sarah, should the great one feel less than great here?
Priscilla and Canal.
Oh, you're calling her out for high five. Forget that. Jackie Mack, how about you?
Hey, Tony, you're married, I'm married, you know what this looks like.
Yeah,
He's like,
I
no, honey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean you were fat. No, I didn't mean I didn't like your dress. No, I didn't mean that we won't go to dinner later. Anything
You
you
gotta
want.
go out and
All
get
been
that
there
kiss.
before.
You gotta go out and get that kiss. That's what I.
He knows he has
Terrence,
rights, Tony.
Spain, you are incredibly. You cut people. McMullan's getting the face now.
Well, all I can think about is Prince right now. And I just remember being in my dorm in 1981. Okay, I'm old. Listen to this beat. Do, 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 do. I'm like, what is that? That was controversy. I started following this dude, this little guy Prince. I couldn't believe the music I was hearing. Pink Cashmere. But you know what I loved most about him? He wasn't a guy that wanted the biggest hits ever. Little Red Corvette was one of his greatest. I remember my mom saying to me one day, that's a cool song. And all I could think of was, oh, Mom, if you only knew the words.